My name is Trinicia Ward. I teach second grade in Conyers, Georgia. Today, I need your help. Can you help me? Really, can you help me? I am planning a trip to a region of Georgia, and I don't know where to go. Do you know what a region is? A region is a specific area in Georgia that has unique landform characteristics. Georgia has 5 regions. Today we will learn about each region and you'll help me figure out where I want to go. Are you ready to help? So let's get started. When I'm planning a trip, I like to organize my ideas on paper. So for this, I need for you to get 1 sheet of paper, a blank one if you can find it, a notebook piece of paper will work also, and something to write with. I have a marker. You can use a pen or a pencil. I'll wait while you go grab those things. Now let's take our piece of paper and fold it into thirds like a brochure, just like this. Just 2 folds. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Now on the cover of our brochure, we're going to write Regions of Georgia. This will help us to organize our thoughts, okay? It should look something like this when you're finished. Regions of Georgia. Then we can open it up and write about each different region. The first region I want to tell you about is Appalachian Plateau. It is in the northwest corner of Georgia, and it's also the smallest region in Georgia. This region is made up of many plateaus. Do you know what a plateau is? I'll tell you. A plateau is a high, tall area that is flat at the top. Can you do that movement with me? A high, tall area that is flat at the top. You can also find mountains, waterfalls, and plenty of trees in this area. You may come across bats or foxes also in this area. Let's listen to this video to learn a little bit more about Appalachian Plateau.
We're in Clowney Canyon State Park. It's in the Appalachian Plateaus. It's in the northwest corner of Georgia, almost into Alabama and almost into Tennessee. We're in the very corner. It's bordered by the valley and ridge to the east and the south, and it's the smallest ecoregion in Georgia. The Appalachian Plateau is called a plateau, as you can see out there and right here, because it is tall and flat. There are lots of greenery, there's lots of lush vegetation. It's kind of like a mountainous rainforest. We usually get quite a bit of rainfall. We have waterfalls here. We have lots of sheer cliff faces, so we get lots of different kinds of birds that like to nest in that, like peregrine falcons and vultures. We can get up to 6 inches of rain in a week, which can be really amazing with these waterfalls. It can dry out and be really hot. It's really rare for it to get into the 90s. That's usually drought conditions for us. The important places to know in the Appalachian Plateau are Dade County and Walker County. And Dade County has a smaller city, it's called Trenton, and then Walker County has a few medium-sized cities. Historically, the plateaus had a really rich mining history. The shell that was really, right now gives us our waterfalls because it's so soft and easily eroded, was really important because it's intermixed with coal. There'll be big streams of coal mixed in. Well, the way they got the coal out of the plateaus, because of the way the rock structure is layered, they just dug down into the hillside, strip mining. You just dig into the hillside, load it into a truck, and haul it away. Agriculture in the plateau was primarily for your family. It was to sustain the family, and that has to do with, goes back to how the rocks are formed. All this sandstone that caps the plateaus is very sandy, it's very acidic, and it's poor for growing these large agricultural fields like you would see in other parts of Georgia. So all of the farms that you would have found here were just small family operations. Everywhere else, it would be a big, massive field. Here, it was just enough to sustain your family.
Wow, I think this would be the perfect place to go camping or fishing. I could even visit Cloudland Canyon State Park. That would be fun. What do you think? All right, now it's your turn to write down some facts. Get our folded piece of paper that we made earlier, open it up, and write Appalachian Plateau at the top. Then I want you to list 2 or 3 facts about what you have learned about Appalachian Plateau. I'll wait as you write. Maybe I can go visit the Ridge and Valley region of Georgia. It is in the north part, right next to the Appalachian Plateau. It has lots of ridges and valleys. Boys and girls, do you know what a ridge or valley is? A ridge is the elevated areas of hills and mountains, and the valleys are the low areas between hills and mountains. This is the movement that helps me to remember the difference. Ridge, valley, ridge, valley. You can do that movement too to help you. In this region, you'll find a lot of waterfalls. You'll also find the highest waterfall, Amicalola Falls. That would be nice to go see. There's also a lot of lakes, which would be great fishing for your family. Let's listen to this video for a little bit more information about the Ridge and Valley region.
We are in the Valley and Ridge region. We are north of the Piedmont and in between the Blue Ridge and Appalachian region. Nationally, it spreads from Alabama to northern New York. It covers about 1,200 miles. It was formed about 250 million years ago when these continents collided and the rocks, the underlying rocks, pushed up against each other. They folded over each other. I like to compare it to gum. Imagine you have about 4 sticks of gum and you layer them on top of each other. And then you push on the edges of the gum and you push it up and it starts to fold. So each layer of gum represents hard sedimentary rock and soft sedimentary rock. Now you cut that top layer of gum off. That represents erosion. As that erosion just really wore on these rocks over millions of years, it eroded at different rates. So the soft sedimentary rocks eroded a lot faster, and that creates the valleys. The soil that comes from those rocks, it's very fertile, it's very thick, and it's really good for agriculture. Now on the ridges, you have thinner, more acidic soil, and that's good for forest regions. So behind me, as you can see, we have a big lake, and in the floor of that lake right there, we have a large valley. And then beside it, we have these large rolling hills. Those create the ridges. The climate in the Valley and Ridge region is very humid, very hot, and that promotes a lot of the weathering and the erosion of the rocks that we find here. The Valley and Ridge region is home to several really important cities. Right now, we're closest to Cartersville. There's also Calhoun in northern Georgia and Dalton. The Valley and Ridge region is very important historically. It served as a very important route of travel for a lot of people through thousands and thousands of years. The Native Americans used it, the early European settlers used it, and we use it now. There are railroads, there are several interstates that pass through it. The Valley and Ridge region in Georgia, historically, is very important for iron mining. Now, the industry is mainly centered in Dalton with the textile mills. They create a lot of carpet, a lot of textiles and other materials.
Now, let's write about the Ridge and Valley region. Get out your brochure, find the next empty slot, and write Ridge and Valley. Then list 2 or 3 facts about that region. I'll give you some time to write. The third region that I'm thinking about visiting is Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge is in the northeast corner of Georgia. Brasstown Bald is the tallest point, which is also located in this region. The Savannah River begins here, and also gold was found in the city of Dahlonega years and years ago. I wonder would I be able to go and find some gold? That would be so exciting, wouldn't it? You can also find a lot of forest animals here. Coyotes, deers, black bears. I'm not sure about those black bears though. Let's listen to a video about Blue Ridge.
We're currently in Black Rock Mountain State Park. The Blue Ridge region, which we're currently in, is east of the Valley and Ridge region and north of the Piedmont region. The Blue Ridge region of Georgia is also home to the highest mountains in Georgia. Brasstown Bald, with an elevation of 4,784 feet, is the highest peak in the state. It's also the home of Springer Mountain, which is the southernmost terminus of the 2,190-mile Appalachian Trail, which extends from Georgia to Maine. The Blue Ridge region of the state is located within the eastern deciduous biome, which has over 90% forested areas. It also receives the state highest percentage in rainfall. The Blue Ridge region of Georgia is also home to some of the most pristine wilderness areas in the state. We have white-tailed deer, bear, bobcat, smaller animals like raccoons, possums, just a wide range of animals. Some of the plants found within the Blue Ridge region are rhododendron, which has a thick waxy leaf, and also mountain laurel, which will have a pink bloom certain times of the year. The Blue Ridge region is home to several counties, some of which include Habersham, Rabun, and Lumpkin. Dahlonega, located in Lumpkin County, is the location of America's first gold rush. Mining then was the biggest industry in the state. Now tourism is the leader in industry due to the region's scenic beauty.
The Blue Ridge region has a lot to explore. Let's get our brochure out so we can record our learning. In your next section, write Blue Ridge, then list 2 or 3 facts that you learned about that region. I'll give you some time to write. Piedmont is the next region that I would love to visit. It is located in the central part of Georgia. It is made up of many rolling hills. Its southern border is known as the fall line, where the landform begins to change and you will find many waterfalls there. In this region, most people of Georgia live here. It is very populous. You will find many cities: Macon, Columbus, Athens, and our capital city, Atlanta. This would be a place to go if you want to go to Six Flags, visit UGA, or even take in a game to see the Braves, Hawks, or Falcons. Now, let's tune into this video to learn a little bit more about Piedmont.
So we are here at Stone Mountain Park. We are in the Piedmont region of Georgia. And the region of the Piedmont, as you can see behind me, really is characterized by these rolling hills and kind of shallow valleys. We have a lot of rivers and streams that are here and kind of dominate in our oak hickory forest that is known for the Piedmont. The soils are very rich, and another thing that is very characteristic of the Piedmont region is the fact that there are these rock outcrop habitats that kind of persist throughout the entire 5-state reach that the Piedmont region has in the U.S. So there's only 5 states in the U.S. that you can find these rock outcrops like Stone Mountain and see the plants that grow there in the type of environment, in that really harsh, hot environment, and growing directly on the rock. So the climate here is typically pretty mild in the winters. We do get some occasions of snow, but it's typically not much more than an inch or 2 of accumulation. That's pretty rare, actually. We get a decent amount of rain, and a lot of that actually has to do with Atlanta being nearby. The kind of hot air that surrounds the city from a lot of the paved surfaces actually give us a higher amount of rainfall in the year than we would typically get in this region. In the lower parts of the Piedmont, closer to the fall line near Macon, they get a little bit less than closer to the mountains. We get a higher average in the northern part of the Piedmont region. The summers are usually pretty warm, not quite as hot as the coastal region, but definitely in the 90s, averaging right at 90 degrees in the summertime. And that hot summer actually really kind of feeds a lot of the plants that live here on the outcrop. Some of the typical wildlife that you would see here at Stone Mountain would be turkey vultures. They really are able to use the heat waves that come off of the mountain to help them fly and to just kind of coast and soar, so they don't have to expend energy by flapping their wings as much. You definitely see deer, several types of snakes. In the Atlanta metro area, though, you're not going to see many of the venomous ones. You see lots of birds, tons of bird wildlife. We get a lot of migratory species here that fly over during their overwintering period. Some that come here to breed in the spring and lay their eggs and then head north for the winter. Lots of butterfly species as well. We have lots of diverse wildflower habitats that are really good for those nectaring pollinators, and lots of amphibians and other reptiles as well, turtles and lizards. So we have a good bit of Georgia's population here in the Piedmont. We have the capital of the state. The majority of the population is in the Piedmont region here. There's a lot of industry and a lot of people that move to this part of Georgia because of the jobs available and the work that's here. Another couple of major cities that you would find in the Piedmont region would be Athens, Augusta, Macon, Milledgeville, and Columbus. Those are right on the fall line, right at the southern border. and those were all major cities as far as trade goes and have been for years because of the rivers that come north from the ocean from both the Gulf and the Atlantic. And as they approach those cities, they get to the point where they can't go any further, but those are the southern, more important cities in our Piedmont region.
Let's write about what we have learned in this region. Get out your brochure, find the next empty spot, and write Piedmont across the top. Then list 2 or 3 facts about this region. I'll wait as you write. The last region that Ms. Ward may want to visit is the Coastal Plains. The Coastal Plains is located in South Georgia, and it is our largest region. This land is mostly made up of flat, grassy areas. This land is great for farming. You can visit cities such as Valdosta, Vandalia to get some sweet onions, or our oldest city, Savannah. You can also visit Okefenokee Swamp and go see some alligators. Again, I don't like the animals. Let's check out this video to learn a little bit more about Coastal Plains.
The coastal plain region is the bottom half of the state. It takes about 3/5 of the state. It goes from the fall line, which runs through Macon, Augusta to Columbus, down to the Florida border, and then from Alabama to the eastern coast. The coastal plain is the youngest of Georgia's provinces. It takes up about half the state's surface area. It's divided into the upper and lower coastal plains. It's also the heartland of Georgia's agriculture. The climate in the coastal plain is fairly mild throughout most of the year. Average temperatures are around mid to high 70s. During the summer, it gets pretty warm. High 90s is fairly common. For the most part in the winters, it's just fairly rainy. Mid 50s usually average. We don't have a lot of hard freezes, but along the coast you get more rainfall throughout the year. The intercoastal plain is marked Macon, Augusta, and Columbus. That's where it meets with the Piedmont. It's also home to most of our agriculture in the state. Peanuts, cotton, peaches, Vandalia onions, all of those are grown in that area. The outer coastal plain is home of Georgia's oldest city, Savannah, which was founded in 1733. The outer coastal plain is usually dominated by pine forests. The pines used to be used in naval productions, and now they're mostly used in pulp and paper productions.
Okay, let's get out our brochure again and write something about coastal plains. So at the top, write coastal plains and list 2 or 3 things that you learned about this region. Again, I'm going to give you some time to write. Now, can you help me decide on which region to visit? Help me first by naming all the regions. Shout them out, I'm listening. Correct. Appalachian Plateau, Ridge and Valley, Blue Ridge, Piedmont, and Coastal Plains. We learned a lot of great facts about all of these regions. This is such a hard decision. I know, I can visit them all. It'll take some time, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Which region would you visit? Shout it out, I'm listening. Oh, I hear a little bit of all our regions. Well, boys and girls, this is all that I have today. Thank you again for helping me plan my trip and learning about all the regions of Georgia. See you next time. Bye-bye.